Recently, I was just conducting a motivation session. It was in a bigger hall. There was around 1,000 plus people were being there, and majority of them they were being the young students. I have conducted this session for 1.5 hours, and once I finished the session, and I came out of the stage, and one of my aunt, she was actually attending the session for the first time, and she asked me a question. She said, "Kamran, I'm very much surprised that once you have been on the stage, you have not referred to any of the notes in your hand, and neither you had any PowerPoint slides. So how do you manage that? Have you verbalized all of your speech and then you stood there at the stage, and have you done that?" I had a I had a laugh on that question because I thought that now this is the time I have to share my secret of how I can manage that. Then I talked to my aunt. I said that to tell you the truth, the real story is that whenever I stand up on the stage and whenever I look in the audience and there are so many young people who have been there, honestly, that's the thing happened with me. I feel like that in each face which I'm being seeing right now, I can see a reflection of my own son's face over there. So as you know that once you have been talking to a young people and you treat them like your own son, it's like a talk which a father has to his kid. So like a father didn't require to open up any manual to talk or open up any notes or to show some of the PowerPoint. So I try to talk from the core of my heart. That's the same message. If you are in the training business, if you are in the teaching business, I was just recently with some of the trainers, and I was being asking them that your standard of honesty is that if you are conducting some classes, and if you finish your class and if I come to you and ask you that if in the same class your son is studying or your brother is studying, have you conducted this class on the same level of passion, same level of interest, same level of commitment? If answer is yes, I will shake hand with you, I will congratulate you, because this is what you have been doing, this is the passion you have been doing, this is the service to the humanity you have been doing. But if there is certain lackness, if there is certain gaps over there, then I would have a serious concerns about that. So important aspect for us is that which philosophy we have been living with in this life. I'm a firm believer that, and that's an experience which we have all gone through, that a few decades back we were not in this world. And after a certain time it is distant, it is for sure we will not be here. Now question is that if you see that we have certain start, we are going to have certain end. So all of us, we carry a single window of opportunity. Now during this single window of opportunity, what we are going to focus, that's the most important part. Events in our life does not have any meaning. The meaning which you assign to these events, that carry a lot more significant for us. So for example, in this single window of opportunity, if we say that this is a chance for us to become beneficial for the other people. So being beneficial means that if you are a teacher, if you are a trainer, if you are a doctor, if you are an engineer, so don't simply focus on what kind of earning you are getting out of that. Focus on that you are being given a single opportunity and how you can make a bit of difference in someone's life. That's the most important aspect. I recall a story that a very interesting and inspirational story which I have learned so many years back, and it has changed the whole perspective for myself, the way in which one should live a life. That is a story of an old man who was walking on a coastline, and that old man has observed that a few yards away there is a small boy who is picking something from the coastline and throwing it back to the ocean. The old man walked towards this boy and asked him, "Son, what you have been doing?" The boy replied that because of the ocean currents there are a lot more starfish which has come out, and the sun is hot and I'm afraid they will die. So what I'm doing, I'm actually picking it up and throwing it back to the ocean. After listening to this, the old man laughed and he said, "Son, don't you realize that how many kilometers of this coastline is? Haven't you realized that how many hundreds and thousands of starfish has come out?" And then the third question which he asked, "How much difference you can make?" In the meanwhile, the boy picked up another starfish, thrown it back to the ocean, and replied, "I had made a difference to that starfish." My philosophy in life is that all of us, if we started focusing on that aspect, of making a single aspect, of making a bit of difference, equivalent to that starfish in our life, for the benefit of others, I believe the whole world can change. It's a philosophy, it's a thinking that's very important. When I was being in my early age, when I was starting my career, I was so much focused on getting that appreciation from the people. I was very much self-centered. But I realized in the later stages that the real meaning of success is not what you attain, is what you give. And that differentiates ordinary versus extraordinary people. Ordinary people are always on the taking mode. Ordinary employees, ordinary friends, they are always focused what they got in return. But I have found that common, consistent pattern in all the people who are extraordinarily successful in life, extraordinarily happy, they are always on the giving mode. So our switch from taking mode to giving mode can make us successful. Second important aspect in our life is the mental standards which we carry in our life. All of us, whatsoever the income state we have been in, whatsoever the state of health we have been in right now, is actually a reflection of our mental standards. I invite you to challenge your mental standards, because if you will change that or challenge that mental standards, your life will automatically go to the next level. I quote an example that if, for example, you are sitting in an air-conditioned place, so there is a thermostat, you control the inside temperature of this room. So for example, if you set it to 20 degree or 21 degree centigrade, now whenever that 21 degree centigrade temperature will be attained, the thermostat will automatically switch it off, because that's the required temperature. And the moment it will increase, it will bring it down to the same level. Our mental standards are like the same thermostat. If we establish certain definition of success, certain definition of income, certain definition of recognition, I actually operate according to my mental standards. And that is the way where I would say we have to challenge. And you know why it is very important and how we can change our mental standard. I advise you to always look for the people who are better than yourself. For example, if you are being a businessman, look for the people who are a better businessman than you. If you are an orator, if you are a speaker, if you are a trainer, always look for the people who are better orator, better speakers than you. Because whenever you go into the circle of a better people, your mental standards change. And that's the way. But the dilemma is that if you retain, if you sustain, if you would like to remain with the people who are just like you, then you are not going to improve any fraction in your life. Rather, the danger is that if you go beyond, if you go lower than that, then there is a risk that might be you are going to compromise on your mental standards. There's a whole game of mental standards. And I always say that the most important part in our life is focusing on results. Results are the most important thing. What objectivity we want to achieve out of our activities. If we are clear in our life, if we know where we have been heading, we have a sure chance that we are going to hit it. Unfortunately, there are many people who didn't know where they are heading. I like the story which is Alex in the Wonderland. Alex was going through a jungle and there was a crossroad where she reached, and she didn't know which way she has to go. And there was some character over there, some cat, and she asked the question, would you like to tell me where should I go? And that character replied, that Alex, first tell me where you want to go. Alex said that I'm not aware of. Where should I go? Then the cat replied, or the character replied, then Alex, it does not matter which way you have to go. Because then every way will lead you to nowhere. If I ask you this question, where do you want to go? Do you have the clarity to go over there? So please seek that clarity in your life. That's the most important aspect. That once you seek that clarity, second important aspect, or the most important thing which we have to focus, is a resourcefulness state. We are always being very desperate in asking for resources around. People think that unless and until that resources just did not come to them, they cannot be successful. But I tell you a different story. Resourcefulness state is the most important part. In which physical state you have been in which mental state you have been there. I have observed in my life, there are many people who become a successful entrepreneurs, they are not the one who first gather the resources around. They are the one who are first mentally attain that mindset of an entrepreneur, and then the resources generated, and then they become successful. So resourcefulness state came with some aspects. Two things you have to remove out of your life. One thing you have to add. Two things are, you have to remove a complaining attitude and a blaming attitude out of your life. And the one thing which you have to add is an attitude of gratitude. When you add attitude of gratitude, you feel like that you are blessed, and that is a resourcefulness state. And when you remove blame and complaint out of your life, you actually feel that you are responsible for your situation, you have the control in place, and whenever you have a control in your life, you always can make things happen. Our problem is that whenever we stuck in the circle and always blame and complain, we never feel any motivation to improve in ourselves. Why? Because we feel like that we cannot change ourselves unless and until the other people do not change. And sometimes we pray. We pray to our Creator. We say, Creator, if you change my condition, then I will change myself. But the Creator operates, I operate in a different way. First you have to change yourself, and then your conditions will be changed. So my dear friends, irrespective of how much is the scale of frustration we are having, how much is the scale of depression we are having, we have something still in our hand, and that is our resourcefulness state. That is an attitude of gratitude which we can still exercise. This is a focus on giving rather than getting in return. This is also a focus on becoming the best version of ourselves in our life. And that is the sense of that philosophy that all of us, we are having a single window of opportunity. What we do during this single window of opportunity, that means the most. It's not what I take during the process. It is actually what I leave during the process that establishes the greatness. That's the message of greatness. And we have this opportunity right now, my dear friends. This is an opportunity right in front of you. This is a work opportunity in form of that work. That is an opportunity in form of that job. That is an opportunity in form of that study which you have been doing right now. Utilize this thing. Utilize this moment. Utilize this opportunity and become the better version of yourself. Once you become a better version, you will have a different realization that signifies the real meaning of